You've been knocked down. You've faced setbacks that seemed impossible to overcome. You've looked at your life and wondered if this is all there is, if the best days are behind you, if the mistakes you've made have defined your future forever. But right now, in this very moment, something greater than your circumstances is working on your behalf. There's a power within you that's never given up on you, even when you gave up on yourself. The truth is, where you are right now isn't where you're going to stay. The circumstances that surround you today are not your final destination. You see, most people think that their current situation is a life sentence, that the failures of yesterday determine the possibilities of tomorrow. But that's simply not true. There's a force in this universe that doesn't operate on human logic, that doesn't look at your resume of mistakes and say you're disqualified. This force sees you exactly as you were meant to be, not as you currently are. Think about nature for a moment. When a tree loses its leaves in autumn, does it believe it's finished? Does it think its purpose is over? No. It goes inward. It retreats into itself during the winter, gathering strength, preparing for a comeback that's written into its very DNA. Spring always comes. Always. And when it does, that same tree that looked dead and lifeless bursts forth with new growth, often more beautiful than before. You are no different. You are part of that same natural world, governed by the same laws of renewal and rebirth. The comeback that's available to you right now isn't about fixing what's broken. It's about remembering what was never broken to begin with. You see, you've been led to believe that you need to become something you're not. You've been taught that you're lacking, that you're not enough, that you need more education, more money, more approval, more everything before you can step into the life you're meant to live. But that's the great lie. The truth is that everything you need is already within you. It always has been. When you were born, you didn't come into this world as a mistake. You arrived with purpose encoded into every cell of your being. You had gifts, talents, and a unique way of seeing the world that no one else possesses. But then something happened. Life happened. People told you who you should be. Society handed you a script and said, this is how you're supposed to live. You took on beliefs that weren't yours. You accepted limitations that were never real. You started living someone else's life instead of your own. But here's what you need to understand. Those authentic parts of you that got buried under years of conditioning and fear, they never died. They've been waiting, they've been patient, they've been whispering to you in quiet moments, in those flashes of inspiration that you quickly dismissed as unrealistic. They've been calling you back to yourself. The comeback begins the moment you decide to stop living by default and start living by design. It starts when you realize that the story you've been telling yourself about who you are and what's possible for you is just that, a story. And here's the beautiful thing about stories. You're the author. You can write a new chapter starting right now. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're looking at the evidence of your life. You're seeing the debt, the broken relationships, the failed attempts, the years that seem wasted. You're thinking that it's too late, that too much time has passed, that you're too old or too far behind. But that's your ego talking. That's the voice of fear trying to keep you small and safe. Safe from what? Safe from the very greatness that's your birthright. Let me tell you something about the concept of timing. The universe doesn't operate on your schedule. It doesn't care that you think you should have achieved certain things by a certain age. It doesn't measure success the way society does. There's a perfect timing to everything, and you're right on schedule for your own life. Every experience you've had, even the painful ones, especially the painful ones, has been preparing you for what's coming next. Those failures you're so ashamed of, they were lessons in disguise. That rejection that broke your heart, it was redirecting you towards something better. That loss that devastated you, it was making space for something new. Nothing in your life has been wasted. Not one moment, not one tear, not one struggle. It's all been part of a larger plan that your limited human perspective couldn't see. The power that created you, that formed you from infinite intelligence, that same power hasn't abandoned you. It's not sitting back watching you struggle and thinking you deserve it. No, it's constantly working to bring you back into alignment with your true self, with your purpose, with the life you're meant to live. But here's the catch. You have to cooperate. You have to be willing to let go of the old story and step into a new one. This means you have to stop identifying with your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not the labels others have put on you. You are not even the labels you've put on yourself. All of those things are just experiences. They're just events that happen. They're not who you are. Who you are is something much more magnificent, much more eternal, much more powerful. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, not a human being trying to have a spiritual experience. There's a difference. When you see yourself as just human, you feel limited by the physical world. You feel constrained by circumstances. You feel powerless. But when you remember that you're spiritual first, that you're connected to an infinite source of intelligence and creativity and power, everything changes. This source, this power, this intelligence, whatever name you want to give it, God, universe, higher self, it doesn't matter. This power is always saying yes to you. Always. It's never saying no. It's never judging you. It's never withholding from you. The only thing that blocks you from receiving all that's available to you is your own limited thinking, your own beliefs about what's possible, your own unwillingness to see yourself as worthy and deserving. The comeback plan that's available to you right now is about changing your mind. It's about changing what you believe is possible. It's about changing the way you see yourself and your relationship to the world around you. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This isn't just a nice saying, it's a fundamental law of the universe. You see, you don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. Your perception creates your reality. If you see yourself as a victim, you'll find evidence everywhere to support that belief. If you see yourself as unlucky, you'll notice all the ways life seems unfair. If you see yourself as not good enough, you'll constantly find situations that confirm that belief. But the opposite is also true. When you start seeing yourself as connected to infinite intelligence, you start noticing opportunities everywhere. When you start seeing yourself as guided and supported, you start experiencing synchronicities that seem magical. When you start seeing yourself as worthy and deserving, people and circumstances start showing up to reflect that belief back to you. This is how the comeback happens. It doesn't happen out there. It happens in here, in your consciousness, in your awareness, in your beliefs. Everything in the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Everything. No exceptions. This is why two people can go through the same experience and one is destroyed by it, while the other uses it as a launching pad for something greater. The difference isn't in the experience, it's in how they relate to it, what they believe about it, what meaning they assign to it. You have the power to assign any meaning you want to anything that's happened to you. You can see your past as a series of mistakes that prove you're not capable, or you can see it as a series of lessons that have made you incredibly wise and resilient. You can see your current circumstances as evidence that you're stuck, or you can see them as the perfect starting point for transformation. The choice is always yours. And here's what happens when you make the choice to see things differently. You stop resisting what is. You stop fighting against reality. You stop wasting energy wishing things were different than they are. Instead, you accept where you are without making it mean anything about where you're going. You say, okay, this is where I am right now. I don't have to like it, but I can accept it. And from this place of acceptance, I can start moving in a new direction. Acceptance isn't resignation. It's not giving up. It's actually the opposite. It's taking your power back from circumstances. When you're busy resisting and complaining and wishing things were different, you're giving all your energy to what you don't want. You're keeping yourself stuck in the very situation you're trying to escape. But when you accept what is, you free up that energy. You can now direct it toward what you do want. The comeback plan starts with a decision. Right here, right now, you decide that you're done living small. You decide that you're done playing the victim. You decide that you're done waiting for someone or something outside of you to give you permission to be great. You decide that regardless of your past, regardless of your current circumstances, regardless of what anyone else thinks or says, you're going to align yourself with the highest vision you have for your life. This decision isn't emotional. Emotions come and go. Some days you'll feel motivated and inspired. Other days you'll feel doubt and fear. The decision is deeper than emotion. It's a commitment. It's a knowing. It's a line in the sand where you say, this is who I am now. This is how I'm choosing to see myself, and nothing will shake me from this new identity. But understand this, making the decision is just the beginning. You then have to live from that decision every single day. You have to practice seeing yourself as the person you've decided to become, not the person you've been. This takes discipline, it takes awareness, it takes consistency, because your old patterns, your old ways of thinking, your old habits, they're going to show up and try to pull you back. Your ego doesn't like change. It feels safe in the familiar, even if the familiar is painful. So it's going to give you 1,000 reasons why you can't change, why you should just accept things as they are, why you're being unrealistic. It's going to remind you of every time you tried and failed before. It's going to point out all the obstacles. It's going to create fear and doubt and overwhelm. This is where most people quit. They make the decision, they feel excited for a few days or weeks, and then the old programming kicks in and they slide back into old patterns. They think the comeback didn't work. But the comeback didn't fail. They just stopped working the comeback. They gave in to the old voice instead of strengthening the new one. The new voice, the voice of your true self, your higher self, it starts out quiet. It's been drowned out for so long by the ego's noise. But every time you choose to listen to it, every time you act from that place of knowing instead of from fear, that voice gets stronger, and eventually it becomes your dominant way of being. This is the practice. Every morning you wake up and you set your intention. You remind yourself who you've decided to be. You don't focus on all the problems you have to solve or all the things that are wrong. You focus on the vision. You feel what it would feel like to be living the life you're meant to live. You connect with that feeling, even if just for a few minutes. Because feelings are the language of creation. When you feel it, you're beginning to create it. Throughout the day, you catch yourself when you slip into old thinking. You notice when you're telling yourself the old story. And gently, without judgment, you redirect. You say, that's the old me. The new me thinks this way, believes this, responds this way. You do this again and again. It's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. At night, before you sleep, you review your day. Not to criticize yourself, but to acknowledge every moment where you chose differently, where you acted from your higher self instead of your wounded self. You celebrate those moments. You let them imprint on your subconscious mind, because what you appreciate appreciates. What you acknowledge grows. And slowly something miraculous happens. The life that you've been holding in your mind, the feelings you've been cultivating, they start to show up in your physical reality. Opportunities appear. People show up to help you. Doors open that were previously closed. Things that seemed impossible start to feel inevitable. This isn't magic. This is law. This is how the universe works. You become what you think about. You attract what you are, not what you want. This is why the comeback has to start on the inside. You can't think lack and create abundance. You can't feel unworthy and attract respect. You can't believe you're broken and experience wholeness. The outer world will always match the inner world, always. So if you want to experience a comeback in your finances, you have to start seeing yourself as abundant. Not someday when the money shows up, but right now, even if your bank account says otherwise. You have to feel grateful for what you do have instead of focusing on what you lack. You have to trust that you're supported, that you're guided, that everything you need is on its way to you. If you want to experience a comeback in your relationships, you have to start by healing your relationship with yourself. You have to stop looking for someone else to complete you or validate you or make you feel worthy. You have to recognize that you are already complete, already whole, already enough. And from that place of wholeness, you'll attract people who reflect that back to you. If you want to experience a comeback in your health, you have to stop identifying with sickness or limitation. You have to start seeing your body as the miraculous self-healing organism that it is. You have to send it love instead of criticism. You have to treat it with respect and gratitude. You have to believe in its ability to restore and renew itself, because that's exactly what it's designed to do. Whatever area of your life needs a comeback, the principle is the same. You go inward first. You change the beliefs, you change the story, you change your relationship with yourself and with the power that created you. And then the outer circumstances must shift to match. They have no choice. That's law. Now, you might be wondering how long this takes. When will you see results? When will things actually change? And here's what you need to understand. The moment you make the decision, the moment you truly commit to seeing yourself differently, the comeback has already begun. It's already in motion. But the physical manifestation, that takes whatever time it takes. And your job isn't to worry about the timing. Your job is to stay faithful to the vision. Your job is to hold the frequency. Your job is to keep choosing the new way of being, regardless of what the current circumstances look like. This is the test. This is where faith comes in. Faith isn't believing that something will happen in the future. Faith is knowing that it's already done in the invisible realm and being willing to act as if even before you see the evidence. Faith is saying thank you before the answer comes. Faith is feeling the joy of the outcome before it shows up. Faith is living from the end result instead of from the current limitation. When you have this kind of faith, you stop forcing and straining and trying to make things happen. You stop manipulating and controlling and worrying about how it's all going to work out. You relax into the knowing that it's already handled. You do the work you're inspired to do. You take the actions that feel aligned, but you do it from a place of peace, not from a place of desperation. And here's the beautiful thing. When you're in this state, when you're truly aligned with your higher self, with Source, with God, whatever you want to call it, life becomes effortless. Things flow, doors open, people show up, resources appear. What used to feel like swimming upstream now feels like being carried by a current. You're not working harder, you're working in harmony with the universe instead of against it. This is the life that's available to you. This is the comeback that's waiting for you. Not someday in the distant future when you finally got everything figured out. Right now, today, in this moment. Because the only time that exists is now. The past is gone. It's over. You can't change it. And the future hasn't happened yet. All you ever have is this moment. And in this moment, you have the power to choose who you're going to be. So who are you choosing to be? Are you choosing to be the person who's defined by their past mistakes and failures? Or are you choosing to be the person who's learned and grown and is now ready for more? Are you choosing to be the victim of circumstances, or are you choosing to be the creator of your reality? Are you choosing to be the limited human who doesn't believe they deserve good things? Or are you choosing to be the infinite spiritual being who knows that all things are possible? The choice is yours. It's always been yours. No one can make it for you. No one can do this work for you. But here's what I promise you. If you make the choice, if you commit to the practice, if you stay faithful to the vision, even when everything around you seems to contradict it, you will experience the comeback. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. And the when is determined by your consistency, your faith, your willingness to keep showing up as the person you've decided to be. You see, God, the universe, Source, this infinite intelligence, isn't holding anything back from you. It's not testing you to see if you're worthy. You're already worthy. You were born worthy. Worthiness isn't something you earn. It's something you remember. The only question is, are you willing to claim what's already yours? The comeback plan isn't something you have to figure out step by step. You don't need to know the how. That's not your job. Your job is the what and the why. What do you want to experience? Why do you want to experience it? Why do you want to experience it? Get clear on that. Feel it deeply. Connect with it emotionally. And then trust that the how will reveal itself one step at a time. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. And then the next one. And then the next one. Each step you take in faith, in alignment with your higher self, reveals the next step. This is how divine guidance works. This is how you co-create with the universe. You do your part and the universe does its part. But you have to do your part first. Your part is internal, it's mental, it's spiritual. It's deciding, believing, feeling, and being. The universe's part is external. It's bringing the people, the circumstances, the opportunities, the resources, but it can only bring you what you're a vibrational match to. So if you want different results, you have to become a different person. Not in your circumstances, but in your consciousness. And here's what most people don't realize. You don't have to wait until the circumstances change to feel better. You can feel better right now by changing your thoughts. You can feel abundant right now by focusing on what you have instead of what you lack. You can feel loved right now by giving love instead of waiting to receive it. You can feel successful right now by acknowledging how far you've come instead of focusing on how far you have to go. Happiness doesn't come from achieving goals. Happiness comes from who you're being in the process of achieving them. Peace doesn't come from having everything figured out. Peace comes from trusting that you're exactly where you need to be. Joy doesn't come from getting what you want. Joy comes from wanting what you already have and knowing that more is on its way. This is the consciousness shift that changes everything. When you stop putting your happiness in the future, when you stop saying, I'll be happy when, and you start being happy now for no reason other than you choose to be, you align yourself with the frequency of happiness. And the universe must bring you more things to be happy about. That's how it works. The same is true for every quality you want to experience. If you want more love, be more loving. If you want more peace, be more peaceful. If you want more abundance, be more abundant in your thinking and your giving. Whatever you want more of, become it first. Be it first. And then watch as it shows up in your life in ways you couldn't have orchestrated with your limited human mind. This is the intelligence that's guiding your comeback. This is the power that's working on your behalf. This is the love that's never given up on you. And all it's asking is that you stop fighting it. Stop doubting it. Stop thinking you have to do it all on your own. You're not alone. You've never been alone. You're connected to everything and everyone. You're part of an infinite web of intelligence and energy and consciousness. When you tap into that, when you remember that, when you align with that, there's nothing you can't do, nothing you can't be, nothing you can't have. Not from a place of ego or greed, but from a place of knowing that you're here to express your unique gifts, to fulfill your purpose, to be a light in the world. Your comeback isn't just for you, it's for everyone whose life you'll touch. It's for everyone who needs to see what's possible. It's for everyone who's lost hope and needs to be reminded that renewal is always available. When you rise, you give others permission to rise. When you heal, you create space for others to heal. When you transform, you inspire others to transform. This is the ripple effect of your personal comeback. It doesn't just change your life, it changes the world. Because we're all connected. What you do matters. Who you become matters. The energy you put out into the world matters. So don't think your struggles are just about you. They're preparing you to help others who are going through similar struggles. Your mess is becoming your message. Your test is becoming your testimony. But first, you have to go through it. You have to do the work. You have to face the fears, challenge the beliefs, break the patterns, and choose a new way. No one can do it for you. But the good news is, you're not doing it alone. The power that created the stars and the planets, the power that makes flowers grow and hearts beat, that same power is within you. It's breathing you right now. It's keeping your heart beating. It's renewing every cell in your body. That power isn't separate from you. It is you. You are an individualized expression of that infinite intelligence. You are God in human form, experiencing life through your unique perspective. When you really get this, when you really understand what you are, not who you are, but what you are, everything changes. You stop looking outside yourself for validation or permission or answers. You stop giving your power away to circumstances or other people. You stop believing the lie that you're small and insignificant and powerless. Because you're not. You're magnificent. You're powerful beyond measure. You're a creator with unlimited potential. The only thing that's ever held you back is the belief that you're limited. The only thing that's ever stopped you is the story you told yourself about what's possible for someone like you. But that story isn't true. It never was. It was just a belief you accepted, probably from someone else who accepted it from someone else going back generations. But you can stop that cycle right now. You can decide that the limitations end with you. And when you make that decision, when you truly commit to living from your highest self instead of your wounded self, when you choose faith over fear, love over hate, abundance over lack, miracles start happening. Not because you're special, but because you're finally allowing what's always been available to flow through you. The comeback isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been underneath all the conditioning and fear and false beliefs. It's about peeling away the layers that have covered up your true nature. It's about coming home to yourself. And when you come home to yourself, you come home to God, because there's no separation. There never was. That was just another belief, another story that kept you feeling alone and disconnected. But the truth is, you're always connected. You're always supported. You're always loved. Even in your darkest moments, even in your biggest mistakes, even in your deepest despair, you were never abandoned. The comeback is simply a return to wholeness, a return to peace, a return to the truth of who you are. And that return begins the moment you decide it begins. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel ready. Now, right now, in this moment. So what are you waiting for? Permission? You have it. The right time? This is it. More information? You already know what to do. The real question is, are you willing to do it? Are you willing to let go of the old story and step into the new one? Are you willing to trust that there's something greater orchestrating your life? Are you willing to believe that your best days are ahead of you, not behind you? If you are, if you're truly ready, then the comeback starts now. God's plan for your life, the universe's plan for your life, your higher self's plan for your life, it's all the same plan. And that plan is perfect. It's beautiful. It's beyond anything you could imagine with your limited human mind. But you have to stop resisting it. You have to stop thinking you know better. You have to surrender to the flow and trust the process. This doesn't mean you become passive. It means you become aligned. You take inspired action instead of forced action. You let yourself be guided instead of trying to control everything. You relax into the knowing that it's all working out for your highest good, even when it doesn't look that way. Because sometimes the comeback doesn't look like you thought it would. Sometimes the path takes unexpected turns. Sometimes you have to lose things to make room for better things. Sometimes you have to fall apart so you can come back together in a new way. Trust it all. It's all part of the plan. The caterpillar doesn't know it's going to become a butterfly. From its perspective, going into the cocoon might feel like death, but it's not death. It's transformation. It's the breakdown that leads to the breakthrough. You might be in your cocoon right now. You might feel like everything is falling apart. But what if it's actually falling together? What if the old you has to dissolve so the new you can emerge? This is the comeback. It's not about going back to who you were before everything went wrong. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. It's about stepping into your full potential, your full power, your full purpose. And the only thing standing between you and that life is your willingness to believe it's possible and your commitment to being the person who lives it. So believe, commit, and watch as your life transforms before your eyes. Watch as doors open, as people show up, as opportunities appear, as circumstances shift. Watch as you become living proof that comebacks are real, that transformation is possible, that it's never too late to start again. Your comeback starts now, not tomorrow, not someday, now. In this very moment, you have the power to choose differently, to think differently, to be differently. And that choice is the beginning of everything. That choice is the first step on a journey back to yourself, back to truth, back to love, back to all that you are and all that you're meant to be. So take that step, make that choice, and trust that the rest will unfold exactly as it should. Because God's comeback plan for you, the universe's comeback plan for you, it's already in motion. It started the moment you were born, and it continues until the moment you take your last breath. You're always being called higher. You're always being invited to expand. You're always being loved back to wholeness. The question isn't whether the comeback is available. It is. The question is, will you say yes to it? Will you open yourself to receive it? Will you do your part by changing your mind, your beliefs, your story? The power is in your hands. The choice is yours, and your life is waiting for you to claim it.